Homeland Security Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen testifies on Capitol Hill this morning about a new DHS study. It shows that at least 549 people were convicted in U.S. federal courts on international terrorism-related charges between September 11th, 2001 and the end of 2016. 73% of them were foreign-born. 148 of those convicted had become naturalized U.S. citizens. Another 147 were born U.S. citizens. Secretary Nielsen spoke to us about the lesson from that study. Secretary Nielsen, you have a new report that has been created by the Department of Homeland Security and the Department of Justice. What does the report say?
Well, I'll just start by telling you it's very concerning. I think what it underlines is that we need to be very clear who's coming into our country, make sure they're not a terrorist. The most important figure, I think, from the report is that 73% of all those convicted of international terrorism-related offenses over the last 15 years were foreign-born. So that's quite a substantial percentage.
So if you're concerned, is this a clear and present danger?
Of course, absolutely. I think the president's been very clear. I think this underscores the need to not only implement the executive orders that he's issued over the past year, but I feel very strongly about going to Congress today during my hearing and work with them to close the loopholes that prevent us from removing known suspected terrorists and other criminals in the United States.
So what policy rises up out of these numbers?
I think what we take directly away from the report is we need to continue to enhance our screening and vetting. But what it also tells us, we need to continually vet those who are here. We have examples, unfortunately, over the last decade of terrorist attacks from legal permanent residents and others who were naturalized. So we need to be able to continue up until the point they become a U.S. citizen to continue to vet them to ensure they haven't become radicalized.
What does that mean to continue to vet them? How frequent? What do they have to do to prove that they're not up to no good?
Well, it's constantly checking against intelligence that we gather.
So should these people assume that they're under permanent surveillance?
I wouldn't say surveillance. It's just, it would be it's a very natural part of becoming a citizen. Up until the point that you're a citizen, we want to continue to make sure we understand who you are and why you're here.
But say of foreign nationals who are responsible for murders during the time period you've looked at here, how many foreign-born nationals are responsible for terrorism deaths in America?
Terrorism deaths, I would have to get back to you. I think the number that we're looking at, what we've used is a number that's related to international terrorism-related charges. So that could be a death abroad, that could be a death here, that could be an attack on a U.S. interest abroad or here, but they're all prosecuted in federal courts. So that's that 73% number that's foreign-born. In
the history of America in this period, what's caused more mayhem, more deaths? People who are U.S. citizens who've been radicalized or foreign-born who've been radicalized?
I don't believe I can give you that at an unclassed level, but I would say we're worried about both.
But isn't it wildly the case that it's more who are U.S. citizens when you think of the Pulse nightclub shooting in San Bernardino and some of these other, these are U.S. citizens?
Some of them were naturalized, yes. Some of them are legal permanent residents,
well,
yes.
Some were born in America.
And some were born in America,
so
yes.
in those cases, when you're born in America, those are the people killing just more Americans than foreign-born.
I'm not ready to commit to that, again, because we have a lot of ongoing investigations and a lot of plots that we've disrupted. But your point is right. We need to do more to prevent radicalization, the inspiration of terrorism in this country.
Secretary Nielsen didn't answer whether American-born or foreign-born terrorists have caused more deaths. A report from the Cato Institute looks at the period between the 9/11 attacks and the end of 2015. It estimates that more than 3 times as many people were killed in terrorist attacks by native-born Americans than foreign-born individuals.
Yeah, that's a very interesting point to make. You say that the study has some limitations. What are they, and what are the implications, do you think?
Well, what the Secretary is doing is going to Congress and saying we need more to do what we're doing. And the pushback will be, well, your report shows all the people that are being arrested, and that the focus in a time of limited attention and limited resources should be on the people who are causing the most mayhem, and that's these radicalized Americans. And so that's where the real focus should be. So it'll be a debate over priorities. That Cato Institute study we looked at said over a 41-year period, the chance of an American being killed by a foreign national is 1 in 3.6 million per year. So that's the kind of numbers that the study will have to combat as people are saying how much money and time and attention should we pay to various parts of the Homeland Security threat.
All right, John, thank you.